All right, I think I'm live. But okay, so I'm doing today's it's a video challenge from. All right, thank you, Facebook. I'm doing the video challenge for the self-perfected group. If you don't know what that is, I'm gonna link a comment so that you can find out more about the best group on Facebook. Let's just start. Let's just put it that way. My life has been not been the same since joining, but I digress. So today's question, or this past week's question, was what's important to me now, which is like what's important to me, and it's interesting because I like reflect back at what was important to me, maybe like even like a year ago or three, five, for the last like 10 years. And I wouldn't say like what's important to me now has necessarily changed a lot, but definitely the starting point of why certain things are important to me now is very clear. So, for example, like I've always wanted to like what's important to me was like living my life to the utmost potential. Acquiring the most, using this time that I have on this earth to like have the best, most human experiences. Like what could I do to just like, live life to the fullest, basically. Being successful, being educated, that sort of stuff, my health and nutrition, because that's always been important to me because I struggled with that when I was younger. So those are things that have always been kind of important to me. And then, especially since now joining this group, it's like, okay, but why are those things important to me, right? And I've come to realize that right now, if you look at the world, especially, like things are pretty messed up. Like, that we're seeing like so many, like so much conflict and so much, just like, just people, like a lot of the world really is like not living, is not even capable of living their life to the utmost potential, right? And this is also something that I always wanted to do was what, like, in what way can I impact the world and make a difference in people's lives, right? That's also been important to me. So when I got into my background is in nutrition and I started like practicing as a nutritionist, and then also discovered entrepreneurship, I realized I was like, okay, I know that health, nutrition, and then just some other things that I found were important in terms of what you need to know to be successful in life are a lot of things that were never taught to us, like how to deal with your emotions, emotional stability, financial literacy, and financial stability, and how to actually create wealth for yourself other than the traditional route of like going to school and getting a job. So I was like, okay, like I would love to infiltrate the system and actually provide programs and education for people to, know to understand and learn those things, because that's where I've felt that we weren't supported in the best way, right? Especially through the education system. But then, obviously, like going through, starting off my entrepreneurship journey, realized that the life that I like dreamed and envisioned was very like from where I was and to where I wanted to be was just such a huge gap. So it was like I was really struggling to even just gain any sort of momentum in like getting my business up and running and off the ground. So now, like since joining, especially Techno Tutor and then the Self Perfected group, it's like now I've plugged into a system of okay, it's very clear how I can have an impact and help change people's lives, because my life's now been changed through the tools that have been shown to me. And then at the same time, like through the business that I'm creating now, especially now with my partner, it's like it's so clear what needs to be done in order to really do all the things that I've always said I wanted: live to my life to the utmost potential, education, like providing other people with that equal opportunity of education, and then to be able to live and be and do whatever they want, right? Versus like being so limited by either like money or your education or wherever you are in this world, basically, right? So yeah, I guess like so that's how it's just kind of evolved. It's like now I've realized like I actually can have a huge impact, especially from where I am. And like the fact that I'm not necessarily worried about my survival. I'm not worried about getting my basic needs met. It's like I'm in a position where I live in North America, I live in Canada, and I can make a difference. And like now I have the tools and like the business and the resources and the network to actually do that. So what's important to me now is actually going out and doing that thing. And actually, you know, growing the business and talking to people and building myself as well to actually live up to the utmost potential that I always dreamed of. And then to also create that financial freedom and wealth that I've always wanted because, you know, and we live in a system where it's like you need money to just do anything. So whether you want to change, literally to do anything, if you want good food, if you want good healthcare, if you want good education, if you want to build a business, if you want to like just even just live, you need money. And money definitely gives you more freedom. And yes, it's like that's a hard pill to like, it's just like a hard truth to accept, but that's just the way that things are. So why not just get good at these things and use the system to your advantage to then make the difference and do all the things that you say that you want to do, right? So what's important to me is definitely also just to like add on now, it's like, how can I create now a better world, that a world that's best for all? And that's like just like what I've just kind of spoken about. It's like, you know, making sure that people have their basic needs met, because literally 99% of the world doesn't and is constantly in survival and struggle, like and struggling to just do basic things like that, like food, water, shelter, clothing, and then proper education. So once people get out of that survival mode, it's like then you can actually live, right? So that's so within this lifetime that I have now, and within, you know, the next like 50 80 years, like I don't even know, I hope to live to 100 and do as much as I can as possible, but to really actually see that change so that, you know, when I have children, it's like then they're seeing like a better world being created versus like, especially in the last year with all this crazy stuff that's been going on, it's like we've just been seeing the demise and like the destruction of just humanity and how disoriented, just delusional, what else, like how disconnected we are from ourselves, from nature, from literally everything. And really it's just like, what world are we actually trying to create? And it's at the end of the day, it's up to us, right? And that's become so like apparent to me. It's like, how much responsibility now can I take to make all these things happen? So yeah, that's kind of like, you know, like now it's creating this world that truly, truly, truly is best for all life, all humans, and that includes me, that includes you, so that we all have equal opportunity to then, you know, be able to actually live and be out of this survival mode, right? Because when you're in survival, it just becomes so much harder to live. And when you do have your basic needs met, then you can actually thrive. And there's not to say that you have to like do a certain thing or be a certain thing. It's like, no, then once you do that, it's like you have the ability and the freedom to do and express in whatever you want. So yeah, and I hoped, and that's one thing that I do want to see in my lifetime, and it could take years, decades, generations, but at least I know now within myself that it's going to start with me and my family that I'm creating, and the business that I'm creating, and the people that I'm working with now, because we are all dedicated within that one purpose. And that's truly what's become so important to me, is just like creating the best life possible, like not just for my family, but actually now providing more just for like other people, and recognizing like all the things that are wrong and making that apparent to people, and being like, there is tools that we can change, like you can have a better life, you can have better opportunities, but it's up to you. And that's the main key, is that like, and I've really, and something that I want to emphasize, like I've really recognized like, where can I take more responsibility to do all these things, right? Because no one's going to do it for us other than ourselves. What's important is also that we work together, right? Because it's all of us or none of us. Like we are a human collective. We are on this earth, so we should, you know, be here to, you know, work together. And I think that's truly like what's become so important to me now, is just like actually fulfilling this path that I'm on now. And and then just the path to get there has become so clear as I use Techno Tutor, as I plug into the Self Perfected group, because now I have people that can even just show me the vision, and see what other people are creating and the sustainable systems that are now being implemented to do all these things. So I think I'm going to leave it there. But if you have any questions, reach out 100%. Like, I would love to talk about this stuff, especially like what we're doing, and the group, and just all the conversations that we're having on truly changing ourselves and changing the system, and how we're doing that, and what you can do yourself from wherever you are, because we have this time here, so why not use it? Right? And if you're watching this video, you're probably in a position where you can take on more responsibility, and you maybe want to do something impactful and meaningful, and change the world, and change the people around you and your community and all that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, that's all for now. If you have any questions, like I said, reach out and we can chat about it. But talk soon, guys. See you in the next video.